Abisade Innovation, Olufemi Loyewan, Ayoba Abdulrasheed, Omotayo Salami. I am highly honored to speak about my town, Ishmael. A town, the land of money, a town renowned for its deep commitment to education. Here in Ishmael, the passion for learning runs through our veins. Kí lógo wa nílùú Ìṣànyìn, òwe màámi, uwe. It fills me with immense pride to celebrate sons and daughters of Ìṣànyìn at home and in diaspora. It is well with all of you. A ṣe ṣe fún yín o. Ẹ̀rí bá ti ṣe, ẹ̀rọ náà gbégbá o. Ìbànújẹ́ bó ṣe wù kó kéré tó, kò ní jẹ́ pín yín o. Ẹ kérò ọjà, ẹ kérò oko, ẹ kó wálé o. Ẹni mo sáré ọmọ yín o. Ìṣesọ́ àìbó ṣe máa rí tó.
Ìṣànyìn, often called the land of honey, was established in the mid-18th century by Ṣadé, a woman of great wealth and influence. Her striking beauty earned her the nickname Rínrẹ̀lẹ́wà, meaning a calm beauty. Ṣadé is believed to have been the daughter of Gbélégbùwà I, who served as the 39th Àwùjalẹ̀ of Ijebu-land between 1760 and 1790. She became the wife of Kòbódé, a prince from the Ìdẹ̀wọ̀n royal family in Ijebu-Òde. Although Kòbódé assisted in the founding of Ìṣànyìn, Ṣadé played the dominant role in this regard, apparently because the move to establish a settlement somewhere outside Ijebu-Òde was at the instance of her father. Apart from her wealth, Ṣadé was also well acclaimed for her courage, exceptional ability and sagacity. Ṣadé being a princess and Kòbódé a prince, all their descendants have legitimate claims to royalty and are therefore entitled to beaded crowns as their compare in Ijebu-Òde and elsewhere. Before the advent of the white people in Ijebu-land, Ìṣànyìn was a town founded by the Omobas, always had Ọ̀túnba as the supreme head of the administrative body. The last Ọ̀túnba to rule Ìṣànyìn was Ọ̀túnba Awóṣẹ́gun, who reigned between 1897 and 1900. About 1816 and 1817, there were two Ọ̀túnbas in the town. This was when Ọ̀túnba Túnwàṣẹ, another prince from Túnwàṣẹ ruling house in Ijebu-Òde, arrived in the town with his followers. They were allocated land for settlement at the outskirts of the town, Ẹ̀yìn-Òdì, today known as Ẹ̀yìn-Ìdì. Ọ̀túnba Túnwàṣẹ, though a late arrival in the town, was a very powerful and popular prince. He was the Olúgbó of Ìṣànyìn. It was from Túnwàṣẹ that the people of the Ẹ̀yìn-Ìdì area in Ìṣànyìn derived the sobriquet, that is Oríkì, Ọmọ Túnwàṣẹ, Ọmọ Ògbó-Ìgbòkò, the children of Túnwàṣẹ, the wrestler of royalty and land. Túnwàṣẹ's son won laurel for Ìṣànyìn by bringing Ògìdán to the town to replace the erstwhile inferior Àpẹpẹ, which was formerly in use. This significant achievement pleased Ìṣànyìn people immensely because their Olúgbó was no longer regarded as inferior to those of the neighboring towns. The Ọ̀túnba was not an ordinary chief. He was the head of the town and ruler of Ìṣànyìn. Evidence abounds that there were royal chairs, royal beads, and bangles in the Ọ̀túnba's palace. All these attested to the superiority of the Ọ̀túnba over all the other chiefs in the town. In fact, the Ọ̀túnba in Ìṣànyìn had a special traditional drum, Gbẹ̀du, which was beaten only on special occasions. The remnants of the drum, Gbẹ̀du, can be found in Ìtún-Ògún in the home of Liwu Banjoko. Ìṣànyìn became the second town to be touched by Christianity in the whole of Ijebu. Emmanuel Church was established between 1894 and 1895. Until there was agitation from other quarters in the town to prevent Ìtún-Ògún people from exercising dominance over the town, At the time, the presentation of succeeding Otumbas was the exclusive preserve of Itun-Ogun Quarter. However, following the geographical expansion of the town, people outside the Itun-Ogun Quarter intensified their protest against the continued hegemony of Itun-Ogun people. For peace to reign, the Otumba title was changed to Baale Chief towards the end of 1900. In that year, a man called Osho was appointed the first Baale. To further assuage trouble, the town was grouped into two principal quarters, namely Itun-Ogun Quarter, made up of Itun Otumba, Itun Shenotu, Itun Osho, Enyidi, and Odolohun, while the second quarter, named Itun Ishoyin, has Itun Ishoyin, Itun Kulu, Ilenla, Itun Araromi, Ishakodo, Iwajuta, Onoeri, now known as Olorun Shogo. It was then agreed that these two quarters should provide Baale in rotation. To ensure smooth succession, the Ekeji Ilu, that is the second in command, who would normally be from the other quarter, was promoted as Baale on the demise of the incumbent. The rotator system has endured without any break in its sequence. Successive Baale from the time of the introduction of the new title were as follows: Osho, Kujeyiro, Ogunkelu, Ifelaja, Liobanjoko, Ogunyimika, Okunsan, Fashina, Sani Kudojo, Ogunowo alias Alafia, Oshituyo, and Animashan. Chief Animashan, the 12th in the line of succession, got the title Olori Ilu as the reorganization exercise kicked off. Moves to elevate from Baale-ship to Oba-ship in the town first started sometime in 1931 during the reign of Baale Banjoko, who pleaded that the idea be shelved until after his demise. However, the idea resurfaced again with fervor and intensity. The new move was initiated in 1984 by the Olori Ilu, Chief Alhaji S.O. Animashan, in collaboration with others during the reign of Baale Oshituyo. In 1986, a committee was set up under the chairmanship of Mr. J.O. Ogutuga by the community, with the singular mandate of taking all necessary steps leading to the establishment of the Oba-ship institution of the town. 3 years after the committee was set up, Ishoyin traditional stool was elevated and His Royal Highness Alayeluwa Oba Amos Kolawole Agbolade Ogunuga Olumoyebo I from the Sade Kobode ruling house became the first Sade-nre of Ishoyin in 1989. Oba Ogunuga joined his ancestors in the year 2002. The second Sade-nre of Ishoyin from the Tunwashe ruling house was His Royal Highness Alayeluwa Oba Funsho Omo Ogunkoya JP Afimolegbade Tunwashe I. He ruled from 2005 to 2015. The present Sade-nre of Ishoyin is the third Sade-nre to be crowned. From the Edagunodo ruling house, His Royal Highness Alayeluwa Oba Abdulrasheed Omotayo Kosi Salami Ilufemiloye I had his coronation ceremony on November 26, 2016. Ishoyin is growing in bounds during the reign of Oba Abdulrasheed Salami. The Ishoyin community and the people have witnessed so many developmental and beautification projects under the rulership of Oba Salami. One such feat, among others, is the creation of Sade-nre Market, Oja Oba, on November 12, 2023. Ishoyin is located within Ijebu Northeast local government, about 10 kilometers from Ijebu-Ode. It is a town known for its emphasis and strict commitment to education. Back in the days, Ishoyin people were known and still known for their educational prowess. Ishoyin stood as an educational hub where pupils and students from other communities far and near did their primary and secondary education. It is not surprising that there is a line in the second stanza of Ishon Anthem composed by Chief Olatunde Odunlami Latsam talking about Uwe Uwe, giving credence to the fact that Ishon indigents are lovers of education. Emmanuel Anglican Primary School Ishon, the first school in the Axis, was founded in 1897 by the earliest missionaries, who also founded the first church in the community, Emmanuel Anglican Church Ishon. Later on, Eredo Primary School was established by the Muslim community in Ishon, Odoregbe and Odushelu. Ishon Grammar School was later established in March 1956 through communal efforts. Pa Abraham Adewumi Onosanya's name stood out as one of the founding fathers of Ishon Grammar School. He was the one going around soliciting for funds from Ishon sons and daughters for the establishment of the school.
Orúkọ mi ni Ìyáàfin Adéṣọlá Adékọ̀yà, ọmọ bíbí ìlú Ìṣàn. Mo kàwé nílùú yìí, mo dẹ̀ lọ kàwé Ìbàdàn UMC, mo dẹ̀ tún kà ní gbogbo agbègbè ṣá. Mo ṣe NCE, mo ṣe teaching, mo di olùkọ́ tó ka ìwé ní ojú àmì. Ní ìgbà táwa wà lọ́mọdé, Ọlọ́run tì wá lẹ́yìn torí gbogbo àwọn nǹkan ọ̀làjú tó ti dé sílùú yìí kò sí níbẹ̀ ńgbà yẹn. Ọba wa dẹ̀ gbìyànjú, wàá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ní ìgbà yẹn, lákòókò yẹn, nílùú Ìṣàn yìí, à ń jẹ, a dẹ̀ mú, à ń kàwé. Àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa náà kàwé, wọ́n kàwé dáadáa. Wọ́n ṣe ohun tó tọ́ àti ohun tó yẹ nígbà náà. Ọba tá a kọ́kọ́ jẹ nílùú yìí ni Ọba Ògúnnúgà. Òun la kọ́kọ́ jẹ nílùú yìí, tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ní ìgbà yẹn bàbá yìí gbìyànjú. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwa ọmọ ìlú nígbà yẹn ló jẹ́ wípé àwálé àtúnlọ, àwálé àtúnlọ. Lẹ́yìn tí bàbá, òun náà ni ọba tó jẹ lẹ́yìn tí bàbá tó dẹ̀ gbìyànjú fún wa. Lẹ́yìn yẹn náà èyí tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fún wa jẹ, tó jẹ́ pé kò sí Sàlámì, ó fọmọdé joyè, ó dẹ̀ máa fi àgbàlagbà jẹ torí ó gbìyànjú nílùú yìí láti bí ẹ̀kọ́ àwọn ọmọ. Gbogbo wọn náà ló ń ràn lọ́wọ́, gbogbo wọn náà ló ń ṣe fún. Ọrẹ ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run wá ń tó fún. Òun náà ọmọdé ni ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run ràn lọ́wọ́, ó náwó, ó nọra sílùú yìí láti lè rí wípé ìlú Ìṣàn yìí ó ń tẹ̀síwájú. Ìlú Ìṣàn yìí ó ń ṣe dára. Kábíyèsí wa ó gbìyànjú ní àsìkò tiẹ̀. Eku ń ké bí eku, ẹyẹ dẹ̀ ń ké bí ẹyẹ. Ọmọ ènìyàn ń fọhùn bí ọmọ ènìyàn. Mo lè gbàdúrà pé ìgbà ẹ̀ á túbọ̀ tù wá lára. Á rọrùn fún wa. A ṣe dáadáa nílùú yìí, a ṣe dáadáa. Even nípa ẹ̀kọ́, kábíyèsí wa tó wà lórí oyè báyìí kò fi ṣeré rárá. Gbogbo àwọn yẹn ló ń kàwé, tó ń sanwó iléèwé wọn, tó ń sanwó ilé-ẹ̀kọ́ tí ẹ fọ̀rọ̀ wọn jáfara rárá. Oore ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run wà fún, àánú Ọlọ́run ń tẹ́ lọ́rùn, ààbò Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ máa dájú lórí ẹ̀. Á máa lọ láyọ̀, á máa bọ̀ láyọ̀. Ọwọ́ Ọlọ́run á máa wà lára ẹ̀. A ṣe gbàdúrà pé kí Ọlọ́run olóore ọ̀fẹ́ ó bá wa tì wọ́n lẹ́yìn, ó bá wa rán wọn, kó ṣe gbogbo ohun tí ń ṣe tiwọn, kó ṣe fún wọn láṣepé. Wọ́n máa lọ láyọ̀, wọ́n máa bọ̀ láyọ̀. Ayé wọn kó tutù gbẹ̀dẹ̀, kí ara kó rọ̀ wọ́n, kára kó tù wọ́n. Gbogbo àwọn tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé wọ́n ń bá wọn ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú yìí náà, à ń dúpẹ́. Gbogbo náà ń tẹ̀síwájú, gbogbo náà ń lọ tó ń bọ̀. tó ń ṣe ohun tó tọ́ àti ohun tó yẹ. Pàápàá àwọn olóyè wọn gbìyànjú, àwọn olóyè wọn gbìyànjú, wọ́n ń ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀, wọ́n ń ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ tó ju bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ pàápàá. Èmi dẹ̀ gbàdúrà pé lágbára Ọlọ́run, orí ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run á tó fún wọn. Wọ́n ti fọmọdé joyè o, á fàgbà lò ó.
In keeping with the provisions of the 1958 Chieftaincy Declaration, 2 quarters in Ishoyin were named as Itun Ogun Quarter and Itun Ishoyin Quarter. Each quarter comprises 2 wards. Itun Ogun Quarters in Ward A1 comprising Itun Osho, Itun Sheno 2, Itun Otunba, Itun Eyindi, Itun Oluseye, Itun Olugbala, Christian Cemetery Road, Odoregbe Road, Odolohun. Ward A2, Akunre Road and adjoining street, Surulere, Idotun, Odogunodo, Ilopa. Itun Ishoyin Quarter, Ward B1 comprising Itun Araromi, Itun Ajetumobi, Odole Road, Okejagun Road, Okemeji Road, Ishapodo, Itun Shoyin, Itun Kulu, Itun Ilenla. Ward B2, Itun Iwaju Uta, Itun Olorun Shogo, Okebukun, Grammar School area and Igbon Road. Some of these Ituns have gone into extinctions like Itun Osho, Itun Sheno 2, Itun Otunba and Itun Kulu. Like any community in Yoruba land, Ishoyin has a unique sobriquet, Oriki, for her people.
Tí ẹ bá gbọ́ méjì Ìṣọ̀yìn, àwa ọmọ Ṣadé rere. Ọmọ méjì Ìṣọ̀yìn, ọmọ Ṣadé Rìnrìnlẹ́wà, ọmọ Kògódé Ọ̀gọ̀bírọ̀, ọmọ Erin Agbo, ọmọ méjì lókè, méjì méjì káàkiri ara, ọmọ Arójọ́joyè, ọmọ Adélé Tejiteji, ọmọ Jìgàlóyè, ọmọ Òjòyè Kóyèwun níjẹ, ọmọ Olójòjòyè méjì pọ̀, Jagunlabi tún retí ìkẹta, ọmọ ó dára nílé, dára lórí ẹṣin, ọmọ à ń lebọ̀ lẹ́yìn, Jagunlabi ń lé ara iwájú, ọmọ ekò ló ń fi lògbà, inú ń bí aládìẹ ṣàṣù, ọmọ ọba ń rìn nílẹ̀, ilẹ̀ ń mì tìtì, ọmọ onílé ńlá tí ń ba olè lẹ́rù, ọmọ òṣùwọ̀n taratara, ọmọ gbohùngbohùn níta lúpè, ọmọ adúródọba lòun nọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀sà, ọmọ olúgbọ́ máyàrọ́tún máyàrósì, ọmọ oníṣàpòdò méjì, ìkan ní Ṣọ̀yìn, ìkan nífẹ̀, ọmọ ògbóyè gboko, ó gboko ó tún gba àlà, ọmọ Ìṣọ̀yìn ó dùn fún ẹni tí kò lówó, oyin mọmọ lójú, ajíṣẹbútú.
No doubt, Ishoyin sons and daughters at home and in their diaspora are doing great. Many are global ambassadors, trailblazers in their chosen fields.
My name is Bale Kayode Mojisola Oyemiga of Okimalowo, Ishoyin. The little thing I want to say about Ishoyin is that Ishoyin is unique for education. When education came into Ishoyin in the year 1890 something, many schools in the neighboring villages do bring their children from the neighboring towns to come and finish their education in Ishoyin. Because as at that time, Ishoyin, Emmanuel Anglican School was the only school recognized for standard 6. That was what they were using as at that time. So they would bring their children to Ishoyin to come and complete their primary education. That is why in those days, Ishoyin was nicknamed Ìlú Ògbóbìrìtà, Owóra Abidi Gbeni, Obìnrin Ògbéni, because Ishoyin was then a citadel of education. Not only that, again, in Christianity, Ishoyin embraced the white man religion, that's Christianity at that time. And many of the neighboring villages also do come to Ishoyin on weekends to come and worship in Ishoyin here. Now, when we now talk of Ishoyin people, they are very, very interested in the development of their village. We have the IDPC, Ishoyin General Purpose Committee. This committee do see to the development of the town. When pipeline water was brought into the town, it was the IDPC that stood and made sure that the water installation was made by the people. We donated. We normally go about doing things that affects our country together. That was IEDPC. The post office, we built it ourselves. The community built the post office ourselves. So that is the duty of the IDPC, the General Police Committee, to see that the town is developed. We still have another one important society organization. We call them Ishon Welfare Association, IWA. This organization sees to the settlement and with the settlement of anything that comes to Ishon. And that is why you will be surprised that since the foundation of Ishon, there has never been a police station in this community. We have elderly people. There is a society called the Obagoroye. The Obagoroye will meet and discuss anything that affects the welfare of the town within themselves and make sure that the matter is settled amicably. So we don't grudge ourselves, we unite. Though we have some misunderstandings, but we don't allow it to disturb or to break the connection of the people or the family at all. So the welfare association sees to the welfare of Ishon people.
Most family members of Ishon descent have distinguished themselves in different fields of endeavors. It is no gainsaying that many Ishon sons and daughters have excelled and already have their imprints in the sands of time, talking about business, law, education, sports, finance, medical, community development, and so on. Some of the iconic eminent sons of Ishon land include Emeritus Professor V.A. Oyenuga, the first Black African to obtain PhD and DSc degrees in agricultural sciences. Sophie Odunlami of the Fifth Tabernacle era of praying groups that metamorphosed into the Christ Apostolic Church in Nigeria. Olori Matilda Alaba Adesanya, the first wife of the then Awujale of Ijebu land, Oba Daniel Robertson Adesanya, and mother of late Prince Justice L.E.V. Adesanya.
Late Pa Oduenyubo Elekumoye. Late Chief Mrs. Dorcas Shole, the first Iyalode of Ishon. Late Chief Mrs. Oladunni Odukoya, the first Iyaloja of Ishon, installed by Baale of Shituyo.
And Pa Abraham Adewumi Onosanya, known as Pa Ayegi Baba Chancellor, the first Chairman, Board of Governors, Ishon Grammar School, and the first Chancellor in Ishon. In Nigeria's business sector, Ishon sons dazzle. Some of these shining stars are Chief D.B.A. Ogutuga, the Baba Oba of Ishon, founder of DB Winery, the first indigenous wine industry in Nigeria. Pa Ogunkoya, first Ishon cattle farmer. Alhaji Abiodun Sumola, an advertising icon. Alhaji Lanre Folorunsho, the Atunluto of Ishon, another advertising guru. Mr. Femi Dosumu and Ashiwaju Tony Tunde Shokon, the Ashiwaju of Ishon land. Amongst past icons in Nigeria's business sector of Ishon descent are late Pa Koyi of Omolayo Pharmaceutical, producers of Omolayo Baby Mixture and Gomoru. Late Pa Oduneye Egyptian Pharmaceutical. Late Chief Bolaji Ogutuga, Dr. Moto, the first indigenous crankshaft and reboring company in Nigeria after Levante's motors. Late Mr. Sunday Ogutuga Taso. Late Mrs. Winifred Deru of Koshenyolu Stores, mother of Otumba Femi Deru, the facilitator of Berek Battery Company in Nigeria, and late Pa Odunlami, the great merchant.
Chief Mrs. Nike Abosede Cash Madam, one of the early fashion designers in Nigeria, and the first Iyalode of Ishon, installed by the first Shadirere of Ishon land, late Chief Mrs. Modupe Dosumu, the second Iyalode of Ishon, and Chief Victor Oshinowo, the Baale of Okemeji and founder of the defunct Vikosino Drinks.
Other prominent Ishoin sons and daughters who have made indelible marks in both the medical law professions, amongst others, are Dr. Olufemi Badero, the first heart and kidney surgeon in the world, Pa Dr. Fison Shongunwawa, late Justice Samuel Okuribido, and late Pa Otumba Adekunle Odunlami, and the first female senior advocate of Nigeria, Mrs. Funmi Quadri ní Balogun. These great Ishoin sons made a very impressive imprint in Nigeria's accounting, banking, and finance sector. Late Pa D.B.O. Ogutuga, former ICAN president. Late Otumba Femi Deru, another former ICAN president. Mr. Paul Abdul, former president, Nigeria's Institute of Bankers. Chief Adewale Shongunwawa, Pa Olushola Fanoike, the great auditor, and late Pa Ogunaike, Baba Alajo Shomolu, the founder, Daily Contributions in Nigeria. We can't but mention some of Ishoin's revered fathers who had contributed immensely to the religious landscape of Ishoin and its environs. Late Venerable Ebenezer Dosunmu, late Venerable Victor Adenuga, late Imam Akeoshola, Venerable Professor Femi Onabanjo, and Very Reverend Olanireti Awoyobo. These Ishoin eminent sons were part of those that have made history in shaping the Nigeria's security and political terrain. People like the late Brigadier General Shashainiyo, the former governor of Oyo State, Brigadier General Dele Taiwo retired, Pa Odushote Eda, and Chief Segun Oshedeko. Ishoin indigents have consistently proven their mettle, and this is reflected in the impressive number of distinguished professors hailing from the town. Professor Ademola Okubanjo, Professor Abeke Adesanya, Professor Adeyinka Odunse, Professor Venerable Olufemi Onabanjo, Professor Olugbemiga Oworu, Professor Abdulrasaq Olufemi Karim, Professor Mrs. Shade Odenride, Professor Thompson Adeboyejo, Professor Sambo Balogun, Professor David Bola Deru, Professor Mrs. Yemisi Bamiro, Professor Yinka Ogunkoya, Professor Adenuga Olukorede, Professor Debola Jayoba, Professor Mrs. Kehinde Alebioshu, Professor Taiwo Chris Oluyomi, Professor Abiodun Odushote, Professor Olufemi Fashina, Professor Dixon O. Torimiro, among many others. Another iconic Ishoin son is late Pa M.A. Ademosu OON, foremost permanent secretary of the old Western Oyo State. He was one of the agitators for the creation of Ogun State. In the area of youth and sports development, one name rings out: Dr. Muhyiddin Adegboyega Salami, the founder, Massa Foundation, organizers of Massa Ishoin Marathon. Salute to all Ishoin sons and daughters at home and in the diaspora for being great ambassadors of Ishoin.
Tí ẹ bá gbọ́ méjì Ìṣọ̀yìn, àwa ọmọ Ṣadé rírẹ́. Tí ẹ bá rí wa kẹjọ mọ́ wa, ọmọ Kòkòdé ní gbogbo wa. Ìṣọ̀yìn ìlú àwa, Ìṣọ̀yìn ìlú àlàáfíà. Kò sí ìlú kan tó lè dàbí ìlú àwa, ìlú gbogbo orílẹ̀ ayé. Kí lógo wa nílùú Ìṣọ̀yìn? Ògo ìwé máa ní ìwé tí a bá tó fi ti ẹ̀sìn kún. Làmúyangàn gbogbo wa ní Ìṣọ̀yìn ìlú àwa. Ìṣọ̀yìn àwọn fẹ́ oyeye. Gbàdúrà fún àlàáfíà Ìṣọ̀yìn, àwọn tó fẹ́ Ọ̀yọ́ ṣe rere. Bí ẹbí wa kí ló so wá pọ̀, ìfẹ́ la máa ní, tí a jogún nípa oore ọ̀fẹ́, omi Ọ̀ṣun tí a jọ mu. Ìgbàgbọ́ àti Mùsùlùmí, ìyàtọ̀ kan kò sí láàrin wa. A ṣe pọ̀ bí irú èyí ṣọ̀wọ́n níbi gbogbo orílẹ̀ ayé. Ìṣọ̀yìn ìlú àwa, Ìṣọ̀yìn ìlú àlàáfíà. Kò sí ìlú kan
special appreciation is extended to Chief Kehinde Oyenuga, popularly known as Elanke, the Baale of Okemilowo, for his invaluable assistance in providing historical insights about Ishoyin, and Mr. Olalekan Okubaju for contributing additional information about the distinguished sons and daughters of Ishoyin. The documentary's compilation and narration was by Yeye Adeshola Salami, the Yeye Royin of Ishoyin land, on behalf of Massa Foundation.